There are calls for the state government to take post-traumatic stress disorder in the police force more seriously. A report recommends the government implement key findings from a public inquiry, including clearing a backlog of claims and providing more support for officers with psychological injuries. State political reporter Bridget Glanville.
Former homicide officer and hostage negotiator Belinda Neal left the police force 10 years ago. She said no one took her psychological injuries seriously.
The initial reaction was that I was putting it on, that a 3-month certificate from the treating psychiatrist was over the top.
She says if she'd received help, she'd still be a policewoman.
The thing is, when you're starting to have flashbacks, like your children being murdered in their beds, you don't tend to tell others at work because you fear you're weak. And that's the attitudes that we're trying to change.
The Greens chaired a public forum into police psychological trauma last year. It's made 11 recommendations, including adding former police who commit suicide as a result of a psychological trauma to the police honour roll.
Too many police are suffering psychological injury in their duty. And sadly, too many of them, when they suffer that injury, suffer the ongoing consequences of shame and exclusion and appalling treatment at the hands of insurance companies.
It also recommends clear limits on the use of covert surveillance by insurance companies.
The New South Wales Police Minister, Troy Grant, has suffered from PTSD and anxiety as a result from trauma he experienced working as a country policeman. He says the government welcomes the recommendations and also says that attitudes towards psychological injuries in the police force are changing.
There's been a massive shift. Is there more to do? Absolutely.
The Minister says plans are already underway to include police who take their own lives as a result of work-related trauma on the New South Wales honour roll. Bridget Glanville, ABC News.